Challengers all the way through the lower bracket. Bo5, he'll be playing as Dahaka. DAV back on Cassia. Linked, making a name for himself on Deckard Cain. Blakitny playing as Genji yet again. And finally, Mopsio playing Diablo. Let's hear it for the leftovers.
I saw the Cassia pick, and I thought Charge Strikes works awfully well against Uther to get that spread damage and really keep Uther, I guess, in very mana retention phase. Instead, we are going that single target damage, of course, helping out in that race as well. So we'll see how that plays out. But Mopsio lurking, Blakitny lurking, but JPL actually starts things off right. Perfect storm for him. He's also been one of those heroes that's gone into Sledgehammer. I'd say this map with Hanzo Greymon on his side probably won't have to.
A lot of good race with Hanzo and Greymon there. Leftovers sticking to a very standard setup for the beginning of Battlefield of Eternity, something that's not so standard for them, but the respect for Team Dignitas and the respect sprays from both sides to have toward their opponents, knowing that they could try for something innovative, they could try for a sneak toward a mercenary camp, toward a gank that we saw versus Team Freedom, or even some early tower damage, but Team Dignitas are far too likely to know what's up.
It's going to be interesting how aggressive we'll see Blakitny on that Genji, knowing that the Uther's back there, the instant stun, that point and click stun, and then a Greymon Hanzo follow up behind that. There's going to be up to a lot more that Leftovers will bring in that initiation, because Dignitas does have the firepower to counteract that. So when this fight explodes, it'll be very telling on the comfortability of Leftovers, most notably Blakitny on that Genji.
I know that we have been talking about how everyone from Leftovers has had the ability and has made plays for the team this weekend, but the one who impresses me the most is Blakitny. I felt like coming into this tournament, he was quite possibly the weakest of the players. He does play that more aggressive role, was punished a lot by some of the other European teams, but he has really stepped up at this tournament on that role that is so close to being over the line at all times. And they're looking to cross that line here as we get some aggression toward Team Dignitas, but not finding anything yet, just playing it safely until we hit that 3-minute point in the Immortal spawn.
Dignitas continuing to keep an eye on things, keeping that vision, not willing to risk these early engagements against that blow-up style of Leftovers, so they play cautious, they keep that cautious approach. Muradin already 7 stacks on his level 1, and of course his baseline make that 8 as he's just holding that point. And for JPL, that is a great start for him to have that many stacks this early in the game. He can have a high impact in these team fights.
Well, I almost wondered if we'd see a change-up of Inner Light for Cassia with the stun lock between Jet Propulsion, Stormbolt, there's a Dragon's Arrow too, and then Uther maybe wanting to blind as Greymon would come in, but instead sticking with Ring of the Leech allows DAB to keep himself alive. You get more of the sustainability from being able to get some of that life leech off of attacking the blinded enemies.
The Shrine phase underway. We see Bo5 doing his best to drag in that Shaman to make sure those don't spawn. Now here comes the lockdown. There's going to be the dive in with that Fend, but we see Poik able to get out of danger with that natural agility.
The setup is as follows. Leftovers Immortal in the top, Team Dignitas in the bottom. Both of the Shaman camps already captured, being dealt with. Push in, follow up, overpower. And they'll get the root to put some more damage in on Wubby.
They would have loved, they would have loved to have that root behind there. There's Blakitny finding his way and getting that stun. Oh, by the way, JPL did say Sledgehammer is going to be the pickup at 4, so he will add even more to this race, and that is the name of the game between a Hanzo and a Greymon. Only going to get worse as it goes on. Mopsio eats a hammer on his way in. A second hammer comes down.
Drag.
But speaking of hammer, that is going to be first blood as Hanzo the priority target.
Bo5 showed he knows how to land those drags in the last series, and he continues to do so, getting that one drag that led to Linked having the quick follow-up with the Scroll of Sealing first blood in this series, in this grand finals to Leftovers, and they'll use that time to take the Immortals to halftime.
That's got to feel good. They get the stun onto Mopsio, into the flip, into the drag, and now Leftovers putting the pressure onto Dignitas to start this game.
Oof, Team Dignitas knows a thing or two about momentum and how powerful it can be, and Leftovers, even with the small amount of break that we had between the series, still are firing on all cylinders now versus the world-class team, the world-class runner-ups at the mid-season brawl.
Well, for Leftovers, they do get the first Immortal of the game, and I think that last part of the race past the halftime show was very telling because Leftovers went all in with everything that they had. You saw the chunk of damage go out onto that Immortal, and then it became a very slow and measured pace, and Dignitas was able to catch up somewhat, get that shield down to a manageable level as both teams pick up level 7.
That was pre-7. Now never outmatched, should make things differently. But currently, as it stands, Leftovers are looking to bring down some structures. The Immortal into melee range. Mopsio steps forward, starting things off. Blakitny gets a two-man swift strike, and Mopsio follows up. Needs the help of the Cleanse to go over, and it doesn't matter. 2 kills, 3 kills for the Leftovers. Who the heck is this team?
Laser precision from Blakitny as he goes in. I wondered, how comfortable would you be? He said, oh, I'm very comfortable. Goes in the follow-up from Diablo. He says, hey, listen, brother, I know you can jump over the wall, but guess what? So can I. Confirm the first kill in that triple.
That's a level lead over Team Dignitas. On Battlefield of Eternity, Leftovers make the swift rotation to the bottom to start a Khazra camp. And Team Dignitas are gonna have a hard time of getting back into this game, down a level. Their first objective, get heroic abilities. They know Leftovers are on the way there, and Leftovers are likely to be fairly passive until they can get to those heroic abilities. Dignitas just gonna get whatever they can take right now to start to make their comeback in this game.
Well, Mopsio, he is sniffing out just about everywhere. That hammer might have just saved another life there. Mopsio is fully stacked.
Whoa!
He's got the charge in. There's going to be the flip. Here comes the body blocks by Mopsio. The roots are going to be there. Wubby pops that Pyromania. Bo5 comes in, but the stun is going to land. The follow-up stun. Wubby trying to get out of there. That is another takedown. We are looking at 6 kills to 0. Leftovers has come out to fight.
So you could be 9.5, and then just not. The Valkyrie pulls in. Another one, a drag catches the Alias, not getting out of here. Ooh, Dignitas respect this team because Leftovers are here for a fight.
This crowd is electric every time they make that play, get that kill. The crowd is erupting. They are behind the underdog story of Leftovers. 7 kills to 0, 7 minutes in. There's nobody writing this story. Leftovers, they have the pen to the paper. They are making their own story happen here at the Western Clash.
And they'll continue that with a fort in the top lane. Already took the bottom one, stepping back so that they can clear out these minions, but with it being so close to dead, it's going to be something they can make quick work of at some point. Dignitas still there, still looking for 10 Leftovers now, with Immortals spawning right now and get set up to get that as fast as they can.
They're trying to get this to the halftime show so they can make the rotation back down is Leftovers. That Shaman camp that was picked up, Dahaka does do well on that to get the drag onto that Shaman as he did before to neutralize some of that damage that will inevitably be coming in from that camp. Leftovers, they do get it to the halftime mark. Bo5 being very respectful of his position as Dignitas has also picked up 10. And then Greymane locking in a cursed bullet for his own to deal with that high health bar of Diablo.
And there it is, there's Hughes slow, hits Mopsio too, but he has a self-heal, goes right back in. Blakitny's with him, and Blakitny's trying to cut down all of Team Dignitas. Lightning Breath is out with the stay a while and listen to, not getting it yet. And a big stun from Dignitas spells the end of Diablo.
Now they're trying to make another play, but the boss gets the stun, and all of a sudden the Finn comes in on that target, hits Salia on the backside of that. Genji does fall in this. Uther still putting out those ghost heals. Another drag lands. JPL able to get the jump out. DAB and team, they're still looking for more, but right now they're turning their attention, trying to keep the race. Mopsio, Souls will reset.
Blakitny got the 1 kill with a swift strike, used that reset to go in and get the other, and almost had it with deflect. Poik was almost dead. If they would have had that, would have been even more, but as it stands, still the Leftovers will be victorious in this next Immortal phase, despite resetting the souls of Mopsio.
They didn't pick up their Shaman camp before that objective. They want to race this down as fast as possible to empower this next Immortal, which will be on the top lane. Quick heads-up play to get over there, so getting the Shaman camp behind this Immortal, that fort is a foregone conclusion. It's a matter, can we get beyond the keep wall? Can we get further than that? We know the Dragon Arrow up in 7 seconds. They have the playmaking potential to fight behind the Immortal, but Leftovers, they are showing their resolve, looking to fight at any moment.
The big deal is going to be Wubby if he can get that jet propulsion behind to follow up if the Dragon's Arrow goes down. Dignitas need to be careful of Valkyrie. It's worked once, and there it goes out. Now Dignitas can feel safer knowing that that cooldown is gone. They can't get a full out. This Immortal was pretty low in shielding, so So Leftovers will have to be content with just getting one keep tower in the gate.
They path directly beside that sidewall. Blakitny says, look, we don't want any vision possible. Gets that takedown. We'll use that maybe later for vision, just the small things that can have an impact later in the game. But right now, Leftovers pick up a camp up at the top, find themselves a level and a half up over Team Dignitas.
This is a good point for Team Dignitas to start making the comeback. They're just that level and a half, doing whatever they can to get that. For the immediate moment, it's trying to take out what is coming at them in the lanes. And I know that because of that, they're going to have to give up some camps. But as it is right now, it feels like with how dominant Leftovers have been throughout this early game, Team Dignitas' best chance is going to be this next fight. If they continue to lose fights as they have been throughout this game, it may be an irrecoverable situation. Though this is Leftovers Battleground, and Dignitas do have the one-game advantage coming into this best of 7.
Dignitas, they have been in rough situations before, and I know Battlefield of Eternity, they've lost both keeps and come back in games before. We'll see if they can do it here, finding themselves a level down and showing a lot of respect towards that 13 talent here. Dignitas held back, but Leftovers made sure to check every single corner on their path down here towards this keep wall. Getting these towers down would give them a chunk of experience to continue that race towards 16. They also have the global. JPL steps out for a stun. One more hammer away from getting that pierce on his baseline.
Now the positioning of Dignitas was applying a tourniquet, but now 13 is here and Wubby's coming in. Stormbolt hits, Dragon's Arrow follows up, DAB and a whole heap of danger. DAB falls, Dignitas finds the kill they need. X-Strike drops down and Bo5 is here.
Now we've got the Lightning Breath trying to lock down multiple members, but there's Greymane with the Divine Shield, focusing on Link. The old man somehow surviving, but not much longer. They do get the trade out onto Hanzo, but JPL and team are looking for more. The stun from Wubby comes in, a follow-up stun. There's the pierce on the stun. Blakitny trying to hold Bo5, unable to walk away. He's gonna, well, he'll be taken down in a moment, but Dignitas fighting back.
Taking it down with the Stormbolt too, just to get the damage there. Blakitny moves out through the Immortal, gets some damage on that, but Team Dignitas do exactly what they need to do. They say, stop, enough, we have given too much, we need to play patient, we let Leftovers come to us. Leftovers were happy to do so. They took both camps, they wanted to siege down keep towers, they wanted to see if they could get more. They may be able to get more here though. Valkyrie pulls in Snitch, but a jet propulsion stops up, and now Mopsio, Blakitny, the duo going in after Wubby.
The Cursed Bullet ripping apart that health bar of Diablo. He's surviving for now. Can he get away from the flames of that bunker that went down? Mopsio trying to get that W in. They find Bo5 coming on the backside, misses the drag. The Dragon Arrow missed there, almost confirming a kill, but more importantly, buying breathing room for Team Dignitas as the Immortal on their side to try and race this down.
Well, Team Dignitas still find themselves behind in experience due to the fact that Leftovers had such a dominant early game on Battlefield of Eternity where you can start the snowball, but Dignitas feels like the fight is not out of them yet for this game. They still have time. They need to do something if they can before 16. Getting this Immortal would be huge for them in being able to slow down Leftovers.
The race for Leftovers is abysmal when it comes to racing down the Immortal. As much as Leftovers wants to hold that position, the scatter arrows continuing to come in. Even JPL with that sledgehammer getting that extra poke in. So Dignitas flipping the script now. They pick up an Immortal of their own. This is also a 13-minute Immortal, and this is the highest shielded Immortal we've seen so far in this game.
Well, Shaman Camp again taken as the Immortal went out. This will be able to help up in this top lane where the Immortal starts its siege and Team Dignitas with it. This is can be a scary place around the side of the fort. Wait and see if Wubby finds a jet propulsion in. For the moment, he's with the rest of the team though and starting to march forward.
Bo5 coming in deep here, Gilly. That's getting some respect from Dignitas, but Bo5 some going in, inexplicably going in, uses that essence, but now they're looking to take the fight behind that, and now they dive in deep.
Deep in the lines of Team Dignitas, stay a while, but the Divine Shield was just fine. Dragon's Arrow before Poik jumps into the bunker onto Linked. Linked being chased down by the double dynamic duo of the front line of Dignitas. They get that kill, they get the one kill. Poik dives out of the X Strike making his way out of the fight. This is taking place on multiple fronts.
Dignitas lucky to get out alive. Po5 trying to see if he can get the takedown onto Azalea, but that is Uther. He gets the heal, he gets the reset, but now we have the ghost of Uther heals. He's going to keep the rest of Dignitas up and remaining. The one thing is, this Immortal has been pushing the entire time. Got through the keep wall, will get some keep damage in, but it is done, it is over. The only thing that Leftovers can say at the end of this is that they do have the advantage when it comes to the death timers on their support.
Well, Team Dignitas didn't have to wait until both keeps were down this time before starting to come back on this game, and we are basically set to even. Both teams still having their keeps. Leftovers have gotten more kills through the early game, but Team Dignitas has stabilized, and that is purely to the unrivaled discipline it feels like this team has.
They seem to always know how to get back into the game. They have a plan, a strategy for everything. You cannot fool this team. It is a matter of, it almost requires a perfect game to beat this team. As we've seen so far, this undefeated team of Dignitas has held strong. They've been the front runner for the majority of their games, almost unchallenged, but Leftovers is bringing the fight here, and they are being very aggressive right now against Dignitas.
Well, I can't say it enough. This is Leftovers Battleground, and it is one of their best chances of getting a game up on Team Dignitas. Leftovers currently on something like an 8-0 win streak, but this might be the place where it stops. Stay a while as Mopsio dives in, hitting Wubby.
Here comes Po5 though. They're trying to get onto the backside. X-Strike comes down. Blakitny, he hops over the wall. JPL says, hold on a second, buddy. I know where you're headed. JPL making the plays for this team on the front line. And now Leftovers, they're on the retreat as JPL and team keep going in.
And where are you going to retreat to, Leftovers? There's no fort here. They've got to keep fighting it. Mopsio goes in, a drag hits. They're trying to bring down Wubby, and they do get him trading out 1-for-1.
Mopsio trying to stay alive, but there's going to be the stun. The seconds on the heels are keeping him alive somehow. Mopsio trying to trade out, trying to stay alive with that fire stomp, unable to do so. The scatter arrows continue to penetrate that of Leftovers with that Pierce post 16.
Yeah, Team Dignitas will go up in that fight. Team Leftovers do have Diablo coming back in, but resetting the souls this late in a game hurts.
Now they will find themselves on opposite sides here. This is what Leftovers probably likes. They can stand here, they can move forward. They've been the aggressor in all of these team fights. The scatter arrows from Hanzo have been a huge difference maker in this game. And the Dragon Arrows to set it all up, but Leftovers puts their foot in the ground and they hold it right there. And the aggression here from Leftovers is getting this to the halftime show.
That's a sigh of relief for the Leftovers. Let's see where this goes next. Divine Shield and Avatar were down for that, and that was Team Dignitas being okay with allowing that to happen so that they had those crucial saving heroic abilities. Po5 comes in with the drag, cleanse used, root down, slows 2, hits Wubby.
Here we go, the bunker down. Diablo going in, does get the charge. There's a follow-up. Wubby, he gets the D-Shield. Remember, cleanse and D-Shield now down. Now the Lightning Breath is out. Wubby goes in. There's going to be the triangle. It locks him in. Do they have the follow-up damages? We see Po5 and Diaby make their way in from the top.
Trying to leave out of this is going to be tricky versus the Hanzo, but Mopsio says, we're not leaving, we're going forward. Unfortunately, though, he goes down. X-Strike drops, and so too will Blakitny. Somehow, some way, all of Dignitas lived through that.
It just seems like they have this all-in mentality. Mopsio is willing to pull the trigger at any moment, and it came back to bite them. Whew. Dignitas holding strong again. This is going to be another Immortal for them, picked up momentarily.
Super, super close game 1 of our grand finals. But this is getting to be into the late game with this Immortal and with the Siege and this small, slight experience lead that Dignitas has amassed here. They may be able to do a lot more with this. Mopsio and Blakitny will be back in about 10 seconds. Diaby gets in, gets some harassment going to Team Dignitas, who are starting to push this wave up ahead of the Immortal, trying to bring down these keep towers, get them to the path of Storm Talents with enough time that they might be able to go in and get something done with them before Leftovers get it themselves.
16 will be, or 20 will be awfully close here for Dignitas as things start to fall. This minion wave again, and now Leftovers, they might be defending against 20. Wubby goes in, there's the start. There's the Dragon Arrow to follow up. The stay a while and listen, locks down multiple people, but no souls means Mopsio the first to fall.
For a full minute, he won't be here on the front lines. Drag is gonna pull in JPL. Linked is where he does not want to be, but drops down the route for the team, trying to make it out. So too is Boss with the healing. JPL not gonna let it happen. The Immortal's gonna go over to the tower though. Genji falls and Team Dignitas are slowly bringing down the leftovers, but they are also getting pretty low with the poke from DAB. If they can take him down, they might just be able to finish out this game.
DAB does get taken down there, linked as well. Snitch says, enough of this. I'm trying to get the kills. He is going to be the first to fall, but they still have enough to try and take this down. The Immortal is here, 70% and falling. Dignitas is going to take this game and go up 2-0 over leftovers.
Leftovers brought the fight. They were on something like an 8-game win streak, but so were Team Dignitas, having a win streak of their own, and they'll keep that going. Though that early game looked very good for the Leftovers.
It just seems they got a little ambitious as they went in. They were so aggressive, almost to a fault there towards the end. The team fights for Dignitas started to turn around more and more in their favor, but make no mistake about it, Mopsio and team, they were so close to getting those kills on that back line, and if they get that, they could have potentially ended game. Instead, Dignitas holding strong. That Uther pick with that armor and the extra healing there seemed to be enough.
Well, it was Dig who had the 8-game win streak, taking it to 9. Leftovers have their 6 reset, but let's go back to the analyst decks and see what they thought of Game 1 of the Grand Finals.
Dignitas gets the win, but it did not start off easy, did it, Tetcher?
Yeah, they had 7 kills in less minutes did Leftovers. They put on quite the show to start this off. But once the objective started coming up, or at least the second objective, Dignitas started to stabilize, started to play a little bit more macro, and started to win the fights of their own, surviving those engages.
Was the aggression a little bit too much from Leftovers towards the end of there?
Maybe a little bit. Like, some of the dives of Mopsio and his survivability were really impressive, but we had a couple of the engages where he had like no hit points left anymore. He just went in anyways. But I think from Dignitas' perspective, this is now, first of all, it was a bit of a wake-up call. Second of all, I think this is pretty symptomatic for them in important matches. They have been talking all about how in finals and in these long series, they usually start a little bit slow and they have trouble to close out the first game. And they've been trying to also salvage it a little bit in the European League. But right now, that happened again, and they won the map. So from their perspective, a super important start here. They take the 2-0, and especially towards the mid and late game, they were able to salvage the problems from the early stages.
But still, giving over Diablo and Kane to Leftovers seems a little problematic. Maybe not again?
I would say there's a good chance that we're going to see Diablo banned out against them.
Or at least taken away, that is for sure. And we did see the Stormbolt build from Murden and JPL, pretty typical for him.
It burned through those Immortals incredibly quickly. He was able to land fantastic stuns onto the enemy heroes as well. He stacked so fast on that piercing Stormbolt. He was easily able to make so many plays throughout that game.
Well, we do have one replay, Caldor, so walk us through it. What are you going to show us?
Yeah, it's just like one team fight that we're going to take a closer look at. Nothing too spectacular, just a lot of chaos on all sides. This is when the push actually comes in, and here's one of the most important parts. We have the Haka moving in, and the idea is that Leftovers start to move in as a unit behind the Immortal and start the attack. The problem is that at this point, they're not quite on the same page. The team is moving away, and all of a sudden, Boss is pretty much alone there. So he is already using his burrow. He's pretty low. He has to pop the essence. But the team is now starting to move in from the side, and they're trying to flank. And this is where all the chaos really erupts, because Mopsio is now going deep. He puts the pressure onto Poik immediately after this, together with Genji. And you can see here already a huge problem for Hanzo. He gets the Divine Shield. The fight is already being pushed towards the right side a bit by JPL on Muradin, but the backline is in a lot of trouble, and Snitch is trying to salvage that. Zelia in particular having a huge impact on trying to keep Hanzo alive here, and he can now turn it around in just a second. Sleep gets interrupted, and here's the arrow, and that's just a perfect position. Link is completely isolated. Mopsio is doing his best with a lightning breath to somehow get some counter pressure and try to just push them off Link, and it doesn't really work out for them. It's the first kill, and it's really where we are seeing with the Haka now falling, thanks to Wooby and JPL. This is where the fight would normally turn. But the one thing that the Leftovers have done the entire time is counter-aggression. They're trying to go for Poik, who's super low, barely escapes, Snitch is low as well, Wooby has basically no hit points left, and it's just a massive back and forth where finally Azalea is pushed into a corner, and thanks to Blakidney, they can pick that kill. And this is basically how the entire game went. We had so many fights that were just insanely chaotic, where you had every single player look for a kill, and especially Dignitas was amazing with their ability to walk away from team fights with heroes that had maybe 5% of the hit points left. It was absolutely ridiculous. At one point, Cassia was so close to actually just getting one Lightning Fury in that could theoretically have killed 3 heroes at once.
Quickly, Hitcher?
That's what you've got to wonder. That Cassia did fantastically, but you've got to wonder, with so many low heroes and they needed poke anyway, would that Li Ming that we were discussing earlier have potentially been a better pick?
Well, let's go into our next series and see if we do have a bit of adjustments in the draft, as game number 3 is ready to be played. We are going to Volskaya Foundry. Leftovers with the choice. Team Dignitas will have first pick.
And this again is another map that we have seen in the best of 5 series between Leftovers and Dignitas in the regular season. And back then, as we stated before, Leftovers were not able to take a single map. This is also the map where Dignitas is just absolutely amazing. It's 7-0 in regular play, and they dominate here.
They really do, and I think they've already played it in this tournament as well and won as well, so they're probably on something like 8 or 9-0 at this point. I don't have that stat in front of me, but this is a brave call by Leftovers bringing Dignitas here.
It's also a form of comfort too. Since the inception of Volskaya Foundry, Leftovers have always came to this battleground. They've experimented here, but they are comfortable in this battleground. So while Dignitas has a great track record, this is a good place for Leftovers to go, especially with them being down 2-0.
You're absolutely correct. They picked the map 6 times. So in nearly every single series, they were the ones picking Volskaya Foundry. They like to play here, and it's a comfort pick for them. And to be quite fair, are there any bad maps on Dignitas side that you can pick where you can explore that? Not really.
Like
so
this guy, I think, has 50% of 2 games, and Tomb was their other only loss in league play, so it's not so bad. Every map's good for them.
Exactly. So this might be a bit of a power pick, but at some point, especially in the best of 7, you have to face them there. And if you're trying to approach that from a second pick position, which is definitely what they practiced, then this is the way to go about it.
Cursed, sorry, is the map I was thinking of there, which is the 1-and-1 map for Dignitas. So now, we're seeing that Medivh banned out. It was banned out 15 times since the Reyna rework. That's how many times that Leftovers themselves have banned it out, and now it's on about 20-something bans in this tournament.
But someone who does make it through the ban phase is Yorel.
Oh boy.
The moment that's available, Dignitas will pick it up, or Wubby.
And can we just mention quickly that Diablo was actually banned out?
Yeah.
I mean, we all expected it, but still pretty important that Mopsio got that hero denied to him. But of course, as you mentioned, this allows Yorel again. And one of the key strategies for some teams was really try and deny Yorel to Wubby. Yorel has such a huge impact, especially for clumped up team fights, and that's oftentimes what you see on Volskaya. That level 4 talent, the extra armor when you go in, is just so impactful. And Wubby in particular has been playing fantastic on the hero. So again, a very early pick here on Yorel for them, going for the GOAT, whereas we have Muradin and Phoenix picked up on the other side.
Going to see the Sergeant Hammer with that Johanna frontline, an incredibly tanky frontline with Yorel and Johanna. Means Hammer's going to have a pretty reasonable time. And it gives Dignitas the opportunity to ban out the Chromie if they're scared of that from Leftovers, as that has been a go-to for a lot of the teams. Genji has slipped through the picks and bans up until now, but Dignitas haven't really played it that often in the regular season, but Leftovers are still trying to avoid it.
We also still have Deckard Kane out. Stukov is another hero that we've seen a bit more on the Volskaya Foundry in particular, just simply because he can control the space around your objective so much better and can try and get these kills. That was actually something that especially Diablo players in previous games experienced here. But normally that also comes together with the tether that you're seeing from IF, which we do not have here. So we'll see if that maybe even comes through. Chromie gets banned out, and at this point, Leftovers, they can go into Deckard Kane again if they really want to. They already have the hero for DAB, but they're still looking for the offlane, and that's Blaze, who is, of course, just so symptomatic for this map. He's just fantastic for space control, on-point position, and therefore an immediate Blaze pick for them.
And of course, this entire composition empowers that Purification Salvo from Phoenix, Thunderclaps, Oil, and of course that Heradric Cube. They have a huge setup for Phoenix and a pretty reasonable frontline to defend it, whereas Dignitas, they don't currently have any dive potential. They're very focused on zone control.
Protection for that hammer. I would love to see the Stukov to really add on top of that. You were mentioning we did have Stukov with the massive shove chosen earlier to take any tanks that might be coming near her and pushing her away.
Whoa! Yes! Yes!
Wait, Josh, is this correct? We are getting a Gaslow in the grand finals of the Western Clash.
And you prepared your entire life for this one moment. You're not casting.
If I had papers, I would
better deliver.
Oh man.
Okay, Gaslow, controlling space. It's what he does. Setup is good for him. but against a Sergeant Hammer who can rage down those turrets and destroy them?
Whichever one gets set up first might have a pretty reasonable time. If Gazzo can get set up and the rest of the team can zone away, Muradin has to be very far forward. I mean, it's still going to require Hammer to stutter forward. Hover Siege will help with that, but this is absurd. A full laser build as well. It's very long-range poke that can actually damage the Sergeant Hammer. I'm sorry, I'm revealing my Gazlo knowledge here very quickly. I like to give him the clamps, all right?
Right. I mean, Gazzo is going to have a hard time setting up here, so it's making me lean a little towards Robo Goblin and just straight up pushing down lanes.
The armor as well could also help you rush in.
Caldor, what do you think about that?
I'm just out of that discussion.
We're over here going
So, Beck, you two got this.
We're shocked.
It's a draft.
It is a draft.
It's
That
a
is
draft.
correct.
I honestly could see them maybe trying to go for maybe some split push strategies here. You have Blaze on the opposing side, trying to clear out the lanes, using Robo Goblin a little bit. If you do have that armor and that movement speed, you can move in and force a fight. Let's go into it. We got a Gazlo in the grand finals. J-How, Gilly, did you expect this?
Do we expect the clamps? No.
Trixler, no, okay. Look, Trixler, I got you. I know that we are more of those niche style picks. I got you on this one. I will break it down as we go through. But Mobsio let a little slip. He's like, look, there's a special hero on Volskaya. We've tried it. This is it. This is the time, but I can't believe we're getting it right now.
All or nothing now as we have Gazlo coming in with the clamps. Are you guys pumped for Gazlo?
I better hear some clamps chants when Gazlo gets that first kill because it is inevitably coming. I can rest assured on that one. But Dignitas will be standing in their way, trying to go up 3-0 in this best of 7. JPL protecting that front line on the Johanna, of course. Wubby on his Urel. Hoik on Sergeant Hammer. Snitch on Junkrat. And Zelia on Stukov. Give it up for Dignitas.
And in the red, Cody Boss playing Blaze, DAB on Phoenix, Linked playing Deckard Cain, Blakitney playing the clamps, Gazlo, and Mopsio playing Muradin. It is Team Leftovers. Time is money, friends, so let's get into it.
Extra TNT.
Oh yeah!
The Explodium charge damage by 10% per target hit, up to 100%. Now, the fun part about Gazlo is that you can go into this build. This is something that we've seen Stitch's players used when you try and get that cooldown reduction with other talents so you can stack up other quests. For Gazlo, he has one to where whenever he gets stunned, he gets to drop that Explodium charge. Johanna's Condemn has a mini stun, so every time he might willingly walk into that just to get that Explodium charge out. It's great zone control. You can also, of course, spread that laser towards the back towards Hammer. There is so much I have never seen in this type of environment, so I'm excited to see how this build plays out.
I never thought in my life I would cast a Sergeant Hammer versus Gazlo game in the grand finals of a Western Clash. I'm pretty pumped too, and you know who else is pumped? We have a camera operator who has been for a long time preaching the good word of Gazlo. He's pretty stoked to have Gazlo in this game. I'm going to leave that up to you in your capable hands, our Gazlo analysis.
Look, I love me some Gazlo. There's so many fun builds out there, but this one obviously more towards the competitive scene. We'll see how it plays out again at level 4, likely to go more into that Explodium charge. Those turrets, if you're not a Gazlo player, those turrets that you put down, those are your Q ability. You can target those. It was a change made a long time ago. You can target whoever you want with those. You just have to press that one key or whatever you have it over. So priority target can be there. It can control the front line. Even at level 7, you can go into multiple attacks or slowing attacks for more control. We'll see how it plays out.
J-How, do you agree that it might be Robo Goblin here? Because I'm just looking at what Leftovers have along with this, and it feels like Gravel Bomb can set up so well for a stay a while, for a Purification Salvo, to have these really impactful heroic abilities.
Well, it scares me because the mobility of Junkrat, obviously Hammer's level 4 I hear is pretty strong.
Yes.
There is setup potential, but it kind of requires that perfect storm, and it's on such a long cooldown. I'm excited to see how it goes. Oh, by the way, hold on a second. This is not in the Explodium charge. We are straight up hired goons, Gilly.
Yeah, so I've seen another team play a Merc Lord style strategy, and it was, I think it was Team Liquid or Team Dignitas, one of the teams playing Vikings. No, it would have been Team Dignitas versus Abathur, and a lot goes around this assault camp, trying to get, it's all top lane focus. We'll see how much they devote to the control point because of that, but a lot of this is going to be top lane focus, trying to get the most out of that assault camp.
Okay, this is going to be, I'm on a huge stage, and I'm pretty sure this is correct. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure these work for turrets as well on this map. It's a weird, unique strategy. I've never really played it myself. I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that works on those. We'll see if that does come into play.
Leftovers have a turret, and then the heal pulse went over to Dignitas. They dropped their turret down so they can get the initial capture of the control point, while still making sure that with Junkrat and Urel, they're still getting soak in both of the other lanes. This is something that Dignitas does very well on Volskaya Foundry. It's one of the many reasons why they're so strong on this map, is they do draft these kinds of heroes like Phoenix or Junkrat, who can be that pseudo-second solo laner, so they're always making sure to keep up with the soak in every lane and start to amass an experience advantage.
Leftovers definitely wants the level 7 to contest this. At least stronger. They need to try and force Dignitas off, but JPL holding point. If they can force him off, they can buy time and keep this neutral while they soak 7, and then their turret camp will come up here in a moment, and they can play around that. So there are ways to go into this. They force them off. This is a very good play by Leftovers, establishing control while they spend some time soaking up level 7.
82%, but now Leftovers starting to climb up. Trying to keep a hold for as long as they can with Mopsio, who can take some damage before he goes out and heals up from his trait. That's one of the big benefits in having Muradin or other sustaining type heroes on this map, like Thrall even, that have their own self-sustain. Leftovers starting to go back into action. The self-unstoppable's been burned from Poik, and overtime is forced.
Here we go, Leftovers stepping forward. Those slows are what is picked up, that engine gunk on those turrets. So when they auto, they will give that slow. And speaking of slows, well, Stukov's doing his job, keeping control of that front line. We are in overtime. How much Leftovers is willing to go there? And that is the turret. It's
Giant.
Juiced up right there.
Stim drone for turrets, who would have thought? But Poik still firing down on Leftovers. Enough that overtime ends, and Dignitas is the victor in being able to pick up Wubby with a beautiful Avenging Wrath in the bottom lane. Gives them the body block necessary to get 1 kill, and then Deckard Cain went down to 2 kills for Team Dignitas, gives them a level lead, and they are likely to further that with this Protector.
Yeah, when you get in this position, Gilly, this Protector, you don't just get walls anymore. You push all the way through a priority lane and you get fort, and that's how the snowball continues. Because you're so close to 10 and you've established such a lead, it makes it almost indefensible on the side of Leftovers, so they have to concede quite a bit. And level 10 will be picked up on the tail end of this. 25 seconds left on this, but this fort should fall by the time it's done.
Leftovers starting to move in. Wubby now has a heroic ability, and Johanna and Stukov will be coming back from this. Mopsio took a whole bunch of damage from the Protector. It goes down, Wubby jumps in, Goomba stomps down for a 2nd kill, and the body block should take out this 3rd. Linked gets hit by a BFG all the way from the bottom lane, as we see Team Dignitas firing on multiple lanes at once.
Well, I mentioned that it was almost indefensible. Leftovers had other ideas, ended up costing them a double kill at the expense of a few heroics where Team Dignitas did stay around. Ardent Defender, as Wubby took quite a few shots, but Dignitas will end up taking down this fort, at least we think that they will, as this next minion wave moves in. And now that experience, we are looking at a 2.5 level lead in favor of Dignitas.
And this whole time, Poik has just been in the bottom lane sieging away. He takes down the full wall there. Nice knockback. Already had used his Neosteel plating to avoid the jet propulsion. Needed to make sure to knock back as when Muradin comes in there too for the Storm Bolt. Poik handling the front line adeptly of the Leftovers. Leftovers doing all that is possible now to claw their way back into the game, because they are quite behind Team Dignitas.
For Leftovers, they have picked up level 10. Will it be Robo Goblin, or will it be the big old potentially black hole by level 20 if they get there? But Gazzo holding that. It is. We got Robo Goblin. He is going to be in that melee range, giving him the clamps. It sounds weird, but Gazlo's auto attacks after this are incredibly strong. So we'll see if he can bring the pain as well as that hired goons along with those turrets.
Also making sure to stay up in the top lane for the time being so that he can take out the assault camp and get their own. We've got a planet cracker, similar to the BFG. We've got long-range missiles for both sides.
It's like, Hammer, if you're going to stay there, I'm going to shoot you. Hammer will just press E and walk away, but it's still a warning shot nonetheless.
Well, Lornado might be able to bring her closer to the action if Leftovers can make that happen. Team Dignitas keeping the siege going and trying to finish what Poik started. Stun stopped, knocked back. Team Dignitas gets 13. Leftovers gonna have to contend with that.
I'm still in awe that I'm seeing a Gazlo in this game because I'm like, all right, well, they can, well, hold on, we've got a Gazlo. But right now, the wave clear in for Team Dignitas between that Johanna and the Sergeant Hammer just too strong for Gazlo to really get that split push value. It's just a matter of holding on, getting those turrets, having some turrets of your own, and trying to get into position. There's going to be the Lornado. Unable to get into position as Poik able to sidestep with that unstoppable.
Yeah, Mopsio started that off with the Stormbolt that forced her Neo Steel plating, but even with that, Lornado not catching Poik. Not yet for Leftovers, but the setup, very important when you're playing Gazlo to get into position for a point control like this. You can start to set up all of those turrets.
Wubby, he walks forward, tries to get the takedown on that, and is able to accomplish that. Again, those turrets do get the slow, but they are being targeted by the long-range poke potential of Poik. There is a way to get extra range on those later in the game. We'll see if that does come into play. Right now, Leftovers moving aggressively forward without that 13 talent here. Junkrat still showing middle. For Dignitas, they're more than okay with conceding a little while they get an advantage elsewhere on this map.
They did force back Wubby long enough to start the channel. Blakitny may be in danger. Lornado's going to help him. Mopsio and Blakitny on one side, looking for a pincer attack with the Gazlo.
Gazlo comes in, he's trying to give him the clamps. Again, those Robo-Goblin attacks do hit hard, but Sergeant Hammer and team, they are hitting back the hired goons on that turret. It's peppering it down, and they're trying to hold position. Blakitny is in there. Wubby somehow surviving, does have that Ardent Defender, but we've got the Root on the other side. Zalia comes in with the big play, and that's going to result in a double.
A follow-up explosive ending to that, unless Team Dignitas can get more. There is no fort to retreat to for the Leftovers, and this is linked. This is Deckard Cain being chased down as if, just in case, a mine tosses him back into Team Dignitas. Triple kill for Dig.
There's just sprays from, it seems like, every team that's represented some type of rivalry towards Dignitas. Leftovers, they're getting them down, but Dignitas, they say, hey, look, we've got our own spray. They represent themselves incredibly well. 15, nearly 13 for Leftovers, but this next Protector will start to siege up towards the bottom. We'll see how effective that is and whether Dignitas can get a keep. But what we have seen teams do before, Dignitas in particular, is they don't just get a keep at these moments. If they can find an opening, they will look for a kill and try and end the game early.
We saw the instance of Planet Cracker from DAB, but it wasn't under the best of terms. It was after Team Dignitas were hopping in for an engagement and already had a couple of people low. We'll see if the setup for Leftovers can be better to get something off of that, but it's not going to be up now for 30 more seconds to help maybe bring down a Protector or just try to give them a kill with the stun lock that the team does have.
The damage coming out, the laser helps take down one of those turrets from Gazlo. Gazlo and team, they're holding on. He's gonna shoot the laser out here, try and survive as this Protector, very patient with a 3-level lead, is Dignitas.
Leftovers starting to group up. Mopsio takes some damage from the Blunt Force Gun and the Protector. Keeps still healthy. Hard to make it in here versus a Deckard Cain and the Gazlo and all of his turrets.
He's rooted. That does drop the Explodium charge. He did pick up that level 13. They have held so far in this. Their keep is still standing for Dignitas. You expected more. There's going to be the Blast Shield, though. Instant blow up onto Muradin. The Planet Cracker in return, but that is a kill.
And Dignitas still have such a lead with 3 levels, trying to take down this keep if they can. Now that Muradin's out of the way, it is a little bit easier, but it's still 20 seconds out until he'll be back for Leftovers to try to help with this defense. Dig feels very confident now with that kill that they can get this keep.
They have managed to take it down. It wasn't as easy as they anticipated it to be, but they have established dominance on this map. Gilly, 17, almost 18 for Dignitas. They will very likely be 20 at or near the next control point. Leftovers has such a mountain to climb. I'm trying to think where they can possibly get back in this game, but it comes at the invade points. And when both of those camps by Dignitas will get picked up momentarily, you're basically out of options. Dignitas will have to massively overstep for Leftovers to try and find a pick in this next few minutes.
And another major problem is with that keep down, we all know where the next control point's going to go. It's control point C in the bottom. And with 16 being there for Dignitas so far ahead, they're feeling pretty good to go in and try to get the score. JPL gets a big condemn on the back line of Leftovers. Shove is going to force back Bo5 so that he doesn't have that follow-up stun. Can't get on the back line in the slows the same way in case Dignitas needs to make a hasty retreat.
Mopsio forced a dwarf toss out. Ardent Defender has been used. Bunker down as well. We see the Explodium charges going around everywhere. Unable to do so. There's going to be another one that dropped. But members of Dignitas starting to drop. There's one. There's two. There's three. And now Dignitas starting to jump in, trying to make plays. Even Snitch getting in on the action with some Ripper Air, trying to make some plays.
Bo5 mined back out. Knocked back in. Shoved back in. Taken down. That was just dirty.
Almost feel bad for watching that. That was insane. Dignitas making the plays. Catapult starting to approach the top. Dignitas in no hurry to end this game. It's not worth risking it. Death timer still low on the side of Leftovers, but opening up this keep is just potentially opening up the victory march for Dignitas. Control point moments away. But for now, Dignitas in complete control of this game.
Yeah, I was worried about catapults in the top when Leftovers were going to have to look for a fight, hang down bottom. Now, I'm more concerned about the 4-level lead that Dignitas has indeed amassed. And if they can, they'll just use that to get a win.
There's another one. There's Mopsio trying to get to the backside. Planet Cracker's there, but Poik able to walk away. Zelia making so many plays. The roots, the setup, the heals, it's all there. But JPL manning the front line. Wubby going in, confirming another kill. They're continuing to lock multiple members down. Bo5 trying to walk away, but this is a masterclass right now by Dignitas as they are relentless in this game.
Dignitas have torn down the strategy of Leftovers with this Gazlo. 4 levels as they step toward the core of the Leftovers. With such a difference, the respawn timers are shorter, but Dignitas having Sergeant Hammer and having a Junkrat just siege up and start to siege down this core.
As much control as they'd like to have, it's just non-existent. As the shields have fallen, 90% is there. Mopsio and team just fighting desperately. Poik continues to pepper it down 70% and falling. Blakitny back here does have Explodium charges. The Lornado comes out. Starting to walk away is Dignitas, but Mopsio, another casualty of this defense.
Yeah, behind this, Dignitas have the minions, have the catapults. The shields have started to build back up. 70% is the core. Leftovers trying to figure out how to get this siege tank, this pesky Sergeant Hammer off of it, and it is not to be had.
And Blakitny, I think at this point, was just running in circles. There's the Planet Cracker, but at 20% and falling, it is inevitable. They are unable to crack this assault from Dignitas as they are going to go up 3-0 in this series, standing 1 game away from a perfect tournament and crowning themselves champions.
Well, we got the Gazlo. We did have it. Gazlo versus Sergeant Hammer. Never really... Yeah, that's my face too.
I think Zelia's face tells quite the story. Blakitny, he's like, look, we had some fun with it. They've still got a puncher's chance in this. They know that they have the aggression. We've already seen one reverse sweep. Accomplishing it against Dignitas will be a whole different story. If they can start taking games, we will see. But for now, 3-0 right now in this best of 7.
We'll see if Leftovers can bring it back. For the moment, we head back to the analyst desk to break that one down.
Dignitas goes up 3-0, but the sad part of this match is that the Clamps got canned.
Unfortunately, that draft